Let's say China.
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 A China.
China.
In China.
You go over to China.
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 A China.
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 Hi, my name is Ailin, and this is Chinese Explained. Have you ever wondered what Mandarin Chinese really is? And why is it called like a fruit? Have you ever wondered why more and more people are studying this language and why you should consider it as well? What makes it so special and essential in the fast-growing economy of the modern world? Mandarin Chinese is one of Sino-Tibetan languages with over 1 billion and 170 million speakers worldwide. Mandarin Chinese is the second most spoken language in the world. However, it has the biggest amount of native speakers, almost doubling Spanish or English speakers. In China, there are over 1 billion and 400 million Chinese citizens. Some of you may wonder why only about 2/3 of them speak Mandarin Chinese. Is there some other Chinese language? Do they speak Mandarin in the whole China? Let me explain that. When people are talking about speaking Chinese, they are most likely to be referring to Mandarin. In Chinese, it is called Putonghua, which translates into common speech. It has fewer tones than most of the other dialects, and it is taught throughout mainland China in schools. Many people don't realize that there are hundreds of varieties of Chinese. So not only do we have Mandarin Chinese, but also Cantonese, Milanese, Taiwanese, Shanghainese, and many more. When you consider that China's land area is even bigger than USA and is the second largest country in the world by land area, and its history has thousands of years, then it shouldn't come as a surprise that there are hundreds of different dialects used in China. So, to make it clear, if you want to travel around China or you would like to do business there, the safest and best way to go around it is to just learn Mandarin Chinese. All officials, businessmen, and basically most people, especially those who interact with foreigners, should be able to speak at least basic Mandarin. About 1/3 of Chinese people can speak it well. However, most of this percentage come from South rustic undeveloped area of China, rarely visited by foreigners or tourists. Even if they don't speak Mandarin, they can still write and read Chinese characters. So that's a pretty good reason to learn them. So why should you choose Mandarin? It is the official spoken language of the People's Republic of China, practically official language of the Republic of China in Taiwan, and one of the 4 official languages of Singapore. The other main dialect is Cantonese. There is a big chance you've heard one of Hong Kong movie productions, which are quite famous overseas. Spoken Cantonese is almost completely different from Mandarin, so even if your Mandarin is pretty advanced, you can still struggle when watching one of Wong Kar-wai movie. Cantonese is spoken mainly in Hong Kong and Macau, and of course Guangzhou. It also happens to be spoken quite widely overseas. If you take a stroll down your local Chinatown, there's a 50% chance what you are hearing is Cantonese, rather than Mandarin. The population who speaks it tends to be older, as learning Mandarin was not a requirement in Hong Kong and Macau schools until the late 1990s. The biggest stars from China are usually Cantonese-speaking ones too, such as Jackie Chan or Bruce Lee, although both can speak fluently in Mandarin as well. In fact, most people speaking Cantonese are taught Mandarin in school as well. I can speak both languages fluently. The current trend is that Mandarin has become the main face of the Chinese language and is becoming more and more widely spoken on an international level. Here are 10 reasons why you should start learning Mandarin Chinese now. 1. What's a better way to communicate with over 1.4 billion people? Don't forget that Mandarin Chinese is the most widely spoken language in the world. 2. Boost up your CV. Chinese skills are rare and can make you stand out from the crowd. Additionally, they can open up your job chances practically anywhere in the world in the ways you didn't think were possible. 3. Traveling is so much more fun and easier when you can communicate with the native speakers of your dream destination. Don't forget that Mandarin is not only spoken in China, but other Asian countries such as Malaysia, Taiwan, Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, Brunei, Philippines, Vietnam, Cambodia, and Mongolia. Southeast Asia travel destination is more popular than ever. 4. There is no better way to keep your mind sharp than learning Chinese. Did you know that learning Chinese uses parts of the brain that other languages do not? English speakers use the left temporal lobe. Mandarin speakers use both. In addition to using both sides of your temporal lobe, bilingual people are said to be better at prioritizing and multitasking. If you want to increase your brain power and keep your brain sharp, you should start learning Mandarin now. 5. China's economy is booming. The Chinese economy is the world's second largest economy, and it's estimated to become the first in the upcoming years. So by learning Mandarin, you can gain a competitive advantage in the business world. In the video below, you can see Mark Zuckerberg showing off his new Chinese skills, especially those important business executives in China. In fact, there are many top CEOs that speak Chinese as a second language. Number 6. The Chinese diaspora is almost everywhere and eager to help you learn. It is surely the biggest ethnic enclave of one nationality outside their native land. Chinatowns are all over the world. Almost everyone has heard of Chinatown before, but for sure, not so many people have heard of Japantown or Koreantown. 7. Chinese characters are useful in many other Asian countries, such as for example Japan, Thailand, Vietnam, and much more. It can make your traveling or even ordering in a restaurant a much nicer experience. They also can come quite in handy when buying many daily products, as many manuals and product descriptions are written in no other language than Chinese. 8. What can be a better way to impress your friends than with your freshly gained awesome Chinese skills? 9. It changes your mentality and enriches your own culture. Many people are very fascinated by the profound Chinese culture and Chinese history. However, by learning Chinese, you can easily get to know Chinese culture. All different grammar structures represent the logic that Chinese people used to think. If you already started to learn Chinese before, for sure you've heard of Chinyu, which are a type of typically 4 characters traditional Chinese idiomatic expression that can teach you a lot about Chinese history, culture, and even show you the way how Chinese people handle relationships. Even in English language, we start to slowly use more and more words and concepts learned from Chinese, such as for example term guanxi, which is used in mostly business context as a network or connection. Therefore, if you want to work in China or deal with Chinese businessmen, knowing Chinese could easily erase the cultural shock and make your experience much more enjoyable and smooth. 10. There is no better time to start learning Chinese than now. We are all living in the digital era, so there are hundreds of ways to learn Chinese, and using our course is just one of them. In the separate video, I will recommend all apps and websites. By the way, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel if you want to hear more about everything Chinese. More videos coming soon.